So the Barrow County Republican Party did a candidate forum on Thursday evening. Unfortunately, I was down in Savannah and was unable to participate that night. So I got a copy of the questions, and I want to go ahead and respond to them here. So that way, you all have the answers that I would have given had I been able to participate Thursday night. So with that, we're going to go ahead and start with reading each question, and I'll go ahead and provide a response about 90 seconds to 2 minutes in length.
What is the most important issue for you in relation to the Board of Commissioners?
So right now, Barrow County is facing a number of challenges. I don't think that it's any surprise that Barrow County is experiencing a period of rapid growth. We are, by some estimates, the third fastest growing county in the state. And so, of course, along with that growth, we have a number of challenges. The first is making sure that our infrastructure is able to keep up with that growth. The second big challenge that I think we need to make sure that we're addressing, and that as a commissioner, I'm going to be working diligently on, is making sure that our public safety departments are able to keep up with that growth, that they've got the manpower and the resources that they need to be able to properly provide services to the residents of Barrow County. And then third is actually controlling that growth, making sure that we're allowing that growth to happen, but in a smart and responsible way. That includes making sure that we're thoroughly enforcing our zoning ordinances when it comes to those rezone requests, as far as lot sizes, minimum setbacks, and then also making sure that we are closely adhering to our future land use map. That is what our different county partners, from the school board to the cities, as well as what our county agencies, our county departments rely on in planning out the future growth.
Do you believe that commissioners should be well informed by citizens in studies before spending tax dollars?
Absolutely. I think that commissioners should be well informed before making any decisions, regardless of whether or not it's going to actually spend tax dollars. As a contract attorney, it is imperative that I'm thoroughly reviewing everything in a contract for my clients. And as a commissioner, I believe that we need to do that as well. We need to make sure that we are looking at all of the information that we can gather. At our most recent work session, the topic of T-SPLOST came up. And there were some commissioners that were ready to immediately stop discussing the issue. I asked for more information because I don't think that with an issue as important as T-SPLOST, we should just immediately stop having discussion because there might be some questions. I think it's important that we continue to keep those conversations in the forefront, especially if we have time before we actually have to make a decision. So that way we can gather all of the information. We got more information regarding T-SPLOST even just the day after we had that work session. So it's important that we're able to have all of the information, that we're able to present that information to you as the constituents, and that we are discussing that information as commissioners, as a board of commission, to make sure that we are properly evaluating all of the decisions we make, whether we move forward with a proposal or whether we decide not to move forward with a proposal. It's important that we have that information so that we know how that decision is going to impact the county.
Where do you stand on SPLOST expenditures and the frequency of citizens being expected to vote for them?
So it really depends on the SPLOST. One of the good things about a SPLOST is that you're not relying solely on the property owners to bring in money for different projects. And there's a number of different SPLOSTs. We have an education SPLOST that goes specifically to the school board, for usually for the purposes of building new buildings, renovating existing buildings. We have a lost SPLOST that is used to actually reduce the millage rate and shift some of that burden, again, to people who don't even live in the county but are coming through the county using county services as they travel through the county. And then, of course, we have our most recent SPLOST that is used for specific projects. And that includes a courthouse expansion, jail expansion, finishing the Victor Lord Park expansion. And so it all depends on what we're looking at to do with the SPLOST. When we're looking at a project-specific SPLOST, especially as we're growing, the SPLOST is a great opportunity to bring in extra money that we otherwise would not get, because again, it's coming from those who are traveling through the county, and we can use that money to expand our infrastructure. And that's going to be the same conversation that we're going to have with T-SPLOST. As that T-SPLOST starts becoming discussed more and more, The question is going to become, how do we structure that? But again, I think that depending on the type of SPLOST, they can be very beneficial. I think we need to be careful in how we do it and how we approach it. So that way the residents, the citizens of Barrow County understand what we are asking of them to vote on when we do put that referendum in front of them.
Concerning housing issues, what is your position on multifamily units being built in our county, especially with the status of our current infrastructure?
Well, so there's two parts to that. The first is that with the inflation, housing has become um, fairly unbalanced as far as affordability. A starter home now, if you can find one for $225,000, you're doing good. And so there's a question of affordability. But I believe that we need to make sure that that to the extent we approve anything that is multi-housing, that it is done in the right areas of the county. We need to make sure that as we approve new developments, whether they be houses, whether they be townhomes, that we're approving projects that match the surrounding characteristics of the communities around where that project is going to go. But again, especially because of our infrastructure, we do have to take into consideration how many new residential units are going to be put onto a single piece of property so that we can make sure that we're not overwhelming our schools, our roads, our water and sewer, our law enforcement, our fire protection services. Those are all important things that we do have to take into consideration before we make approvals.
How do you feel about all county citizens being taxed for the benefit of a smaller subset of county citizens?
Well, I think at the end of the day, there's not really much that the county spends money on that only benefits a small subsect. Really, the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head would be school taxes. And when it comes to school taxes, that's something that the Board of Commissions does not have any input into. There's an exemption for seniors that is based on how much the seniors make each year and the value of the property. But again, that is dictated by a combination of state law as well as the school board. But outside of that, most of the things that the county spends money on, whether it be the roads, fire protection services, the sheriff's department, the court services, those are all services that every resident of Barrow County either does use or has the potential to use. And so it's important that we are making sure that everybody is equally contributing to those services.
Final question. What level of communication would you provide to your constituents?
Well, I believe that communication is key as a commissioner. We are elected to represent you. And so, as a commissioner for the last month and a half, I've already opened up multiple lines of communication. I have a commissioner Facebook page. Obviously, I have a county provided email address, but I also have my cell phone number that is listed on the county website. I try to be very responsive in responding to emails that I get from constituents. If I don't respond the same day, it's usually the next day. Even if I don't have an answer right then, I want you to know that I've seen your email. I'm working on it. I want to find a solution to that problem. I'm constantly on Facebook, on a number of the community Facebook pages, looking for concerns that people have that I can address ahead of time before they even reach out to me as a commissioner. I've established regular office hours. The Board of Commissioners meets regularly twice a month. Usually the second Tuesday of the month, we have our main voting session. And then the fourth Tuesday of the month, we have a combined voting session, work session. And the Tuesdays that we have meetings at the of the county commission, I work from the historic courthouse, 30 North Broad Street. And I'm there the entire day. So that way you as a constituent knows where you can come and find me in person. If I need to get with any of the department heads and ask them questions about some of the stuff that we're about to address, I'm right there. I can easily address them. They can come and talk to me. So I find it very important that we are doing those things. I'm actively reaching out because again, at the end of the day, my job is to represent you and represent your interests. And the best way for me to do that is to collect your feedback, listen to what you're asking of me, so that way I can provide the best representation possible. And I believe that was the last question. So I do appreciate you all tuning in and taking the time to listen to me respond to those questions. We do have another candidate forum next Monday at 6 p.m. that is being sponsored by the Barrow County Chamber of Commerce. That candidate forum, like I said, starts at 6 p.m. It's going to be for those that are running for county commission in districts 4, 5, and 6, as well as those who are running for school board in Barrow County as well. It'll be over at the Winder Community Theater. So hopefully you guys will be able to come out there and join us again as we answer more questions to help you guys make the best decisions possible when you go into that voting booth. I look forward to hopefully earning your vote again to represent you for a full 4 years on the Barrow County Commission in District 4. Thank you for joining us and have a great evening.